Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 4. I am Rachel David White, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Buhari congratulates Dr. Iyabo candidate. Plus, of the Intergovernmental Group of 24 G24, Dr. Iyabo Masha. According to a statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, Buhari, in a personally signed letter, noted that by the appointment, Dr. Masha has joined Dr. Masha to use a position to champion the cause of developing countries, especially on the key economic challenges of economic diversification, debt resolution, tax policy, and financial sector development. In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari in Doha criticized the existing debt architecture that makes it more expensive for the least developed countries, LDCs, to borrow on the global market than their advanced counterparts. He warned that such an unfair arrangement would make it extremely difficult for the LDCs to meet the 2030 agenda for 17 Sustainable Development Goals. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, in a statement said the president aligned with the United Nations Secretary General's description on the global financial system as an unfair debt architecture that not only charges poor countries much more money to borrow on the markets than advanced economies, but downgrades them when they even think of restructuring their debt or applying for debt relief. Away from that, the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Clem Agba, has disclosed that the federal government plans to establish a basket fund to collect donations for the 2023 population and housing census. He made this disclosure at a high-level partners engagement to seek support for the 2023 census in Abuja. Agba noted that a total of 869 billion naira is needed for the census, noting that the government committed 291.5 billion naira with the need for an additional 327.2 billion naira. He further disclosed that the census exercise was to be conducted last year, but was scheduled for March 2023, adding that there is a recommendation that it should be held in May 2023. Moving now to the judiciary, where Supreme Court has affirmed Akanimo Udofia as the authentic governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Akwa Ibom State, as it dismissed a suit filed by Senator Idainang seeking to nullify the primary that produced Udofia. Delivering judgments, Justice Kudirat Kekere Ekun upheld that the decision of the Court of Appeal Abuja, which held that the Federal High Court in Uyo acted without jurisdiction when it nullified the APC's primary. The appellate court had upheld the primary that produced Udofia as the flag bearer of the party. Recall that Inang had prayed the court to declare him as the authentic governorship candidate of the party on the basis that Udofia was not an APC member as of May 26, 2022, when the party conducted the governorship primary. His application originated from the decision of the Federal High Court in Uyo, which had on 14 November 2022 nullified the election of Udofia as the APC governorship candidate for the state. Dissatisfied with the judgment, Udofia lodged the appeal at the Court of Appeal in Abuja. The appellate court on 19th January set aside the judgment of a lower court and restored him as the APC candidate. In a separate development, the All Progressives Congress today in Abuja assembled a team of highly qualified and experienced lawyers to represent it at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. According to a statement by the APC National Legal Advisor, Ahmed El Mazouk, the team comprised legal luminaries with vast experience in election petition matters, constitutional law, and litigation. He said the legal team, consisting of 13 senior advocates of Nigeria, was led by Prince Lateef Fagbemi, a renowned lawyer. El Mazouk said Fagbemi had successfully handled various high-profile election matters and other landmark cases. In a related development, Presidential Election Petition Court (PEPC) has listed some motions for hearing this afternoon. One of such motions is the one filed by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), seeking to vary the orders granted to the candidates of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and Labour Party (LP), Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, to inspect materials used for last presidential election. Also listed for hearing today include the motions filed on March 6 by the President-elect Bola Tinubu and his party, the All Progressives Congress (APC), for an order to inspect materials used for the last presidential election. Further listed for hearing is a motion by Obi and LP for leave to carry out a digital forensic and physical inspection of beavers, etc. On electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has released the list of members-elect of the 10th House of Representatives. Recall that the National Assembly elections was held on Saturday, February 25th, to arm of the government, making up the red and green chambers. Among the new faces in the House of Reps are 34 members of the Labour Party who defeated rivals from the ruling All Progressives Congress and opposition People's Democratic Party to claim just seats for themselves and their party in the National Assembly. Meanwhile, INEC has also released the list of members who will be held in the affected senatorial districts. The affected districts include Enugu East, Kebbi North, Plateau Central, Sokoto East, North and South, Yobe South, and Zamfara Central. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has directed the Sokoto State Resident Electoral Commission (REC) Noura Ali to stay away from the commission till further notice. The directive was contained in a letter signed by the Secretary to the Commission, Rose Anthony. Professor Mahmoud Yakubu recently, in a meeting with State REC, vowed to deal with any official of the Commission who contributed to the shortcomings of the presidential election. In a separate development, National Institute of Security Studies (NISS) has engaged the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) to advance strategic collaboration that would enhance the application of information and communication technology (ICTs) towards improving national security. Speaking during a visit to the Executive Vice Chairman of the Commission, Omar Dambata, in Abuja, the Institute's Director, Research Estimates and Library Services, Ardegbegoyega Karim, said the visit was a fact-finding mission to enrich ongoing research that focuses on globalization and regional integration for sustainable development in Africa. He noted that the Commission has made giant strides advancing the course of digital economy development in Nigeria, and that its regulatory processes provide a good opportunity for the collaboration to enable the group for research further into matters regarding telecommunications and national security. In another development, the chairman of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Loretta Onochie, has pledged to support the Commission's effort to develop the capacity of women in the region. Onochia, in a statement signed by the NDDC Director, Corporate Affairs, Ibitoye Aboshede, said the Commission would in no time set up a committee to articulate the specific needs of women in the region. She charged women to work together to eradicate gender discrimination in the country. Meanwhile, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres says the increasingly distant goal of gender equality will take another 3 centuries to achieve. Guterres said in a statement that the General Assembly speech ahead of International Women's Day on March 8 that gender equality is growing more distant, a track of 300 years away. He called for collective action worldwide by government, civil society and the private sector to provide gender-responsive education, improved skills training, and invest more in bridging the digital gender divide. Back here, resident of Ipa Road in Uyo local government, Esther Otoyo, they asked the government to avail the contractors currently working on the road with needed equipment and capital to enable the quick completion of the road. They also decried that the bad state of the road has affected their business and is dangerous for school children plying the road, noting that one can easily fall into the pit that have been dug by the area for months, which can result to death.
This has really affected the people residing here as well as the indigenes, in that businesses have been halted for some time now and students find it difficult to also access the road. Perhaps the workforce is low, so if they can at least have enough workforce, it can also hasten up the pace of the work.
In Africa, the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has urged M23 rebels in the Democratic Republic of Congo to respect a ceasefire agreement set to come into effect today. The Secretary-General, who welcomed regional and international violence against civilians and urged all armed groups to lay down their weapons and disarm unconditionally. Guterres urged the M23 to honor a pledge to cease hostilities to facilitate full and effective withdrawal from. Still in Africa, the United Nations says Eritrea's Rekha al-Nashif said the withdrawal of Eritrean troops from Ethiopia's northern region of Tigray was very slow and largely incomplete. She said there were credible reports of torture, arbitrary detention and enforced disappearances. According to reports, estimated 600,000 people died during the war in Tigray. On the foreign scene, Japan has reportedly destroyed its new rocket during a failed launch today, setting back efforts to crack a market led by Elon Musk, SpaceX. According to report, its space agency had to send a self-destruct command to the H-3 rocket when its second stage engine failed minutes after liftoff. The H-3 rocket is the first medium-lift rocket designed by Japan in 3 decades. Meanwhile, Japan's Science Minister Keiko Nagaoka said authorities will investigate the cause of the engine failure. She apologized for inability to meet the expectations of the public and related parties and described the development as extremely regrettable. Still on the foreign scene, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky says operations to defend the embattled eastern city of Bakhmut will go on and are backed by senior generals. Reports say Western analysts suggested that Ukraine was probably withdrawing some of its troops as Russian forces close on in the city. Meanwhile, Yevgeny Prigozhin, head of the Wagner private army involved in the Russian campaign, has complained of lack of ammunition amid apparent friction between his fighters and regular Russian forces. He also says his representative had been barred from Russian military headquarters. Still to come in the news. UEFA to refund Liverpool fans for Champions League final tickets. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. On our business, the Central Bank of Nigeria has disclosed that 503 billion naira, representing 52.39%, has been repaid by farmers under the Anchor Borrowers Program as of February 2023. This was made known by the Acting Director, Corporate Communications Department, Abdul Mumin Issa, in a statement. This figure, however, contradicts claims by the International Monetary Fund that only 24% of loans disbursed under the Anchor Borrowers Program of the Central Bank of Nigeria have been repaid. Disputing the claims, Issa explained that 1.079 trillion naira has been released under the program, out of which 960 billion naira is due for repayment. According to him, the CBN program has supported 4.45 million smallholder farmers who cultivated over 6.02 million hectares of 21 commodities across the country. And still in business, the non-operating joint venture partners of Oil Mining Lease OML 18 have appointed NNPC 18 Operating Limited as operator of OML 18 to replace Rotan Exploration and Production Limited. According to a statement issued in Abuja by the Chief Corporate Communications Officer, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Garabaddin Mohammed, Rotan was removed to curtail further degradation of the asset and revamp the production of oil and gas. NNPC stated that while the key business reasons that made the change in operatorship were compelling, it was publicly available information that production had declined from 30,000 barrels per day to zero. And in health, an outbreak of diphtheria infection has reportedly claimed 61 lives in Kano State as of March 2, 2023. The Kano State Case Manager, Dr. Salma Suway, disclosed these at a webinar organized by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention with the theme Diphtheria Outbreak in Nigeria. Vaccination response. Dr. Suwaid also said a total of 783 patients have also been on admission so far. This number, 360 were females and 423 were males. Suwaid, who is also a consultant pediatrician, noted that the average hospital stay of the patient is 4 days. According to him, 68% of patients have been discharged, 1.66% absconded, and 12.2% died. Still in health, a new study has affirmed the role of sleep in supporting immune levels, suggesting that people who sleep under 6 or more than 9 hours are higher risk of getting sick. The study stressed that poor sleep can increase an individual's risk of developing infections, such as cold and flu. The research conducted a cross-sectional study of 1,848 unselected patients in the waiting rooms of general practitioners in Norway to determine whether self-reported measures of chronic insomnia disorder, chronic sleep issues, sleep length, and circadian preference were linked to the risks of infections and antibiotic use. The study at the end of a survey discovered that the risk of infection was 27% and 44% higher in patients sleeping below 6 hours or more than 9 hours. And in sports, English Premier League giants Chelsea are reportedly ready to double Victor Osimhen's current salary at Napoli as they hope to lure the Nigerian to Stamford Bridge, with Manchester United and Tottenham also interested in signing the informed striker. According to Calcio Mercato, Todd Boehly is ready to sign one of football's most exciting talents in Serie A's leading goal scorer this season, with Osimhen leading Napoli's charge for a first Scudetto title this century with 19 goals in 21 league games. Osimhen is Napoli's second highest earner with a salary of 51 million naira weekly and 204 million naira monthly. The Super Eagles star has been unstoppable in front of goal for Napoli since the beginning of last year. Osimhen finished the 2021-2022 season with 18 goals and 5 assists in 32 games, including 14 in 27 league games. Still in sports, UEFA has disclosed that it will refund all Liverpool fans' tickets from the 2022 Champions League final after a review found that a catalogue of organizational failures almost led to a disaster outside the Stade de France. The refund scheme covers all of the Liverpool allocation 19,618 tickets, with supporters receiving the full cost of their ticket back from the European football's governing body, with prices ranging from £59.40 up to £585.70 for a seat at the incident hit final in Paris last May. Liverpool were involved in a process that led to this decision having influenced on discussions from the start. On entertainment, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) candidate for the Etiosa Federal House of Representatives seat Bankole Wellington, popularly known as Banky W, has spoken out for the first time since he lost the House of Representatives election. Recall that in the just concluded 2023 elections, Labour Party's Thaddeus Atta unexpectedly defeated Banky W and won the post. In a video on his Instagram post, Banky W expressed deep disappointment at losing the election. The singer stated that in a video that he made extensive preparations in anticipation of his triumph, including plans for a Sunday Thanksgiving program, searching for a flat and office in Abuja. And still on entertainment, internationally celebrated award-winning gospel singer Mercy Chinwo, popularly known as Minister Mercy, is set to gather thousands of her francophone fans in a grand concert in Lome, Republic of Togo. The concert, scheduled for March 12, 2023 at the Omnisport Stadium Lome, is set to be packed by Christians across Togo who will gather to worship alongside Chinwo in an electrifying atmosphere, known for her popular hit song Excess Love. Among other incredible hits, Mercy Chinwo is billed to minister at the widely anticipated concert dubbed Grand Concert's Excess Love, which aims to create an opportunity for all to come together as a body of Christ to celebrate the goodness of God and His excess love. Sharing the stage with a star-studded lineup of gospel ministers and gospel music artists from other African countries, the two-day concert promises to be a night of high-energy praise, worship, and diverse expressions of God. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 4. I am Rachel David White. Good afternoon.